Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's show is a little bit different, and before there's any confusion, I have a confession to make and an apology to my dear friend Alicia. About 2 weeks ago, guys, I featured in a compilation of true Dogman stories some of Alicia's research that she'd been conducting and interviews, and it was actually her first proper, debut story, if you like, or report. Unfortunately, we had quite a bit of difficulty backwards and forwards in the emails, and obviously I had a lot of other authors sending me part 1s and part 2s, and just generally got mixed up. So I actually just put out the second half of the story. Now, how that happened, I do not know. Again, I'm an idiot and I apologise. But tonight I present the full report from Alicia Morgan. Without further ado, let's get straight into tonight's story. We entitle Dogman on the Farm, Michigan, 1977. Let's get straight into that. Alicia, I never thought I would be faced with my mortality and my belief system in such quick succession. We lived in Mayville, MI. It's a very, very small town. I mean, one stoplight and a bank kind of small town. It's also surrounded on all sides by forests and farmland. I was a teenager, and jobs were scarce for a 16-year-old with no car. My dad's friend ran a big dairy farm on the outskirts of town. He was willing to pick me up, so I was good to go. It was hard, backbreaking, and at times nasty work. Ever been pissed or crapped on by a cow? I have. More times than I care to admit. Part of my job was checking the fence line and making sure there were no breaks in the fence. It was an electric fence. Found that out the hard way. Anyway, I'd been working at the farm for a few months and I started to enjoy it. I felt I had earned a certain amount of respect from my bosses. I was the youngest person working there and the only one willing to walk that fence line alone. We live in mid-Michigan. There's no bears or any other large predators, so I didn't get why other guys were acting like pussies, or a more family-friendly word. Every time I got ready to go out, the guys would look like they were getting ready to lift and carry my coffin. We started to have a few issues around the farm, missing cats, and some cows stopped producing milk. I guess stress can do that. Then, a few times the piss smell coming from the northwest corner of the pasture was horrendous. Like make your eyes water and dry heave bad. The owner actually made me put bleach and water into a weed spray bottle and go to town near the fence line. That night, after me spraying the bleach, the farmer told us he kept hearing horrible screaming and growling sounds. Now the boss and the farmer are two different people. The farmer was an 82-year-old man that lived on and owned the property. The boss was his son, maybe 45. The farmer didn't go out to investigate. Like he said, the old grey mare, she ain't what she used to be. In other words, he was too old and not in great health. We all looked around the property for signs of damage, or really signs of anything. This time we went out as a group. Myself and Perkins were of course walking towards the northwest corner, and the smell got worse. Oh my good God, it was worse. It also had a crap smell, and that section was tore up. Piss and crap everywhere and claw marks on the fence posts and broken limbs on trees. It looked like something had thrown a massive hissy fit, like a spoiled kid that didn't get their way. We got everyone over to our area. Everyone just stood there. All the older guys grabbed their handkerchiefs out of the back of their pockets and held them over their nose and mouth. Everyone was speechless. The boss finally said, "Come on guys, let's get back. You four, go get whatever you need to get this cleaned up." After all the damage that had been done, the fence was not busted. The boss insisted it was a pack of feral dogs. It had to be, he said. We were cleaning up messes from that general area for about a week. The next Monday, when I was picked up, no one was talking in the car. I looked at Perkins with a "what the heck" look, and he just shrugged. Well, I did not want to be the one that was breaking that odd, cold silence, so on to work, and very uncomfortable we went. When we arrived, the truck for the local slaughterhouse was there. 7 of the cows were brutalised. Not eaten at all, just murdered. The night before, the farmer had heard the commotion and grabbed his shotgun and let off a round out the front door. The huge floodlight kicked on, and a massive figure stepped out of the barn and into the light. The farmer said it was wider than any man he's ever seen, and taller to the boot. Covered in dark hair, and the eyes were a mix of blood red and yellow. And he said he could tell without a shadow of a doubt this thing was extremely angry. He inhaled in shock and slowly backed up back into the house. He shut and locked his door. He said the thing watched him for a few minutes and then turned and let out an annoyed huff as he walked at a normal pace into the woods. The farmer called his son, who raced over. He of course told his dad, "Your eyes are probably not the best anymore." It had to have been a man in a large coat. The farmer was livid, he said. "Name me 3 times I've had any vision problems. I still drive. I've got a better driving record than you boys here. Damn it, I know what I saw, and it weren't no man in a large coat. Unless the man had pointy ears on his head." Of course, the son just says, "Okay, Dad, we will handle it." We will handle it? This man saw a damn movie monster, and we're going to handle it? The boss gathered us up and told us how much money just drove off in that truck. He can't sell the meat, so it's only for personal use, and told us no matter what it is, it has to be taken care of tonight. So, since he was my ride home, and I wasn't about to walk since the road is in the woods, I figured, screw it. At least this way, I get a gun and a backup. The day went on and we did our normal chores, but we had to clean up the barn. I have never to this day seen anything so horrible. These were cows that were murdered, not human, so all of the carnage had to have been cleaned by us. Just imagine walls drenched in blood. The dirt floor had tons of mud, but not water-based mud, blood-based mud. The smell was like nothing I would have ever imagined smelling. I mixed it with copper, smell, and urine. Again. The guys assumed the cows probably cowered from fear, which I'm sure they did, but it was that same urine smell from the fence line. Perkins mentioned the fact that it smelled just like the original urine smell when an older guy that was just kind of watching us clean said, "Well, fellas, looks like we have pissed off the wrong manimal." I said, "It's either an animal or a mammal, don't mix the words," and I snickered. I noticed immediately no one else was laughing. He snapped his head at me and said, "You better shut your mouth and listen up, you dumb son of a bitch. I know what I said. Mammal isn't part of it. I said manimal, as in a man-animal." I was very confused and terrified, but his tone and the feeling in the barn told me I had good reason to be scared. "It's that damn man dog, or Dogman, isn't it?" said a voice from behind me. The farmer had made his way out to the barn and overheard what we were talking about. "This isn't the first time I've had to deal with this," he said, "but it's the first time I've had this damn thing on my land." I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So you guys are saying a werewolf did this?" "No, damn it, this thing isn't a man, never was. It's a beast. Look around at this carnage, it was done by a monster." This arguing went on for a bit, but I heard very little. I was busy trying to decide if I was working with insane people or the people that I have known to be honest, hard-working men that had absolutely no reason to make this up. We cleaned up and finished our day up by checking the fence line as a group. I had so many questions, but nowhere to get answers. There was no internet that was available, and the library in Mayville was a joke. I had 2 days to figure it all out. Okay, one day. I screwed around most of the weekend, and I don't think I wanted to face this. So Sunday came, and I decided to talk to my old man. The people I was working for was my dad's friends. Friends for a lifetime, he said. He'd listened to my story, and insisted. Well, those dogmen have been around here and most of the dense forest of Michigan for lots of years. "I'm sorry, what?" I said. "Look, if the farmer says that that's what happened, and what he saw, then that's all there is to it, son." My dad said I guess I wasn't thinking in my dad's mindset. These men didn't seek fame or money from these happenings. They actually hid them most of the time. As an adult, I now see my dad's point of view. These farmers had no cause to make these stories up or fake attacks like what had happened at my job. They lost thousands when those cows were torn up, but I still thought like a kid back then. And just decided it was all a bunch of horseshit. It was just some human being doing this, or some crazy woodsman. So I went back to work Monday with a new cocky attitude. I wasn't going to be scared of my job by this crap. The atmosphere at work was tense, but I didn't care anymore. I was convinced it was a weirdo living in the woods, and all the old boys were messing with me. 9 p.m. came up quick that day. August 15th was the date I could never forget. Perkins and I said we would check the fence line. I had picked up a habit of stupidity because if you smoked, you could get away with an extra break or two. I now realise it was stupid, but I was 16 and that's all I was, stupid. I was still trying to dodge my boss and trying to keep my old man from finding out. The boss was hardly there, but I was still a bit paranoid anyway. At this point it was a great time to have a cig, so we noticed the fence line was reinforced with heavy-duty barbed wire. We joked about how the boss probably had a massive fit when he had to pay for that. It was done the weekend and us teens didn't work weekends, so we had to pay the big boys to install it. We were heading out, passing by the northwest corner of the pasture, when we were slapped in the face with the foulest odour I have ever smelt, even to this day. It was wet rotted dog smell with a stinky hot copper. Perkins started dry heaving and my eyes were watering, like I tried to wipe my eyes with onion slices. It was about 9:20, so twilight was settling in. After Perkins was finally able to compose himself for a bit, we was both cussing up a storm. Like, what the F is that, and holy shit, etc. You get the idea. All of a sudden we heard what to me sounded like a bull snorting. There were bulls on the property, but not one on the outside fence, in a tree. We started backing up slowly. As I got my flashlight out, I knew exactly where to point it. I just wasn't sure I wanted to. I chose to turn it on at the base of the tree and move it up slowly, and why I did that I don't know, because what I saw changed my life forever. About 4 feet up the tree where the branches formed a Y shape was a massive, furry dog. It was crouched in the dip of the Y shape, and it was resting its limbs making an upper Y shape with its arms. It just stared at us, teeth bared and now growling. Jesus Christ, what am I seeing? Perkins started making these very bizarre squeaking sounds which startled me, but it also snapped me back to reality. And reality was pretty shitty. I reached up to grab my rifle that I had on a strap over my shoulder, and this thing dropped down onto the ground, landing on its hind legs, and then began to rise up. Now, I'm 6'2", and this thing was much taller than that. It crouched down and took the I am going to attack you stance. It then lunged forward and I shot at the same time. I thank God every day that heavy-duty barbed wire was there. It got caught up in the bunch of wire that had been left behind the same day, soon to be used to finish the fence. It screamed and howled and growled, so loud that the guys standing by their trucks, waiting for us to get back, heard it, and started coming back to the area we was at. Some were on foot and a few were in the trucks. This thing thrashed and screamed for what felt like 10 minutes, but in reality, it probably lasted 30 seconds. The truck carrying my boss and the older guys got to us just in time to see the thing stand up and bolt. We all just stared towards the dark area that it ran into, all in pure shock. I decided, after all these years, I could handle it. I not only handled it, I got kind of excited. There are hundreds, if not thousands of people like me out there. After 2 years of listening to everything I could find on Dogman, I stumbled across DMT and a woman named Alicia that was close to my age at the time of her encounter, also within 20 miles of my encounter. So here we are. This is the first time I have told my story. All I want you people to know is they are real in flesh and blood, and they don't like you messing with their territory. Stay safe in the woods of MI, folks, or do as I do and stay out of the woods. Regards, Anonymous. Wow. That's a lot better now that I've got the full story there. As I say, I do apologise to you all, and Alicia especially. As you can see, guys, the calibre of that report was very, very, very good. Very shocking, very detailed. And again, the first time that a story has been shared on my channel. Once again, I feel very, very humbled by that and blessed to have Alicia's support since speaking with her first time back last year. She's been non-stop rock in my corner, really. If you guys enjoyed that, then guess what? We have a lot more on the way from Alicia's research. She has been speaking with people, interviewing them at their properties. We are looking towards her possibly investigating a witness's property in the next coming weekends or so. Obviously, we'll give you more details as that arises more close to the time. As ever though guys, please do let us know down below in the comments what you thought. Please do like and share, it really does help the community build and the channel. And as ever, if you're out in the woods, hiking or camping, or just enjoying a jog, keep your eyes and ears open, wits about you, and above all, remember, be safe, not sorry.